Hi, my name's Darren Whittaker, the Managing Director for Network Global Solutions. Network Global Solutions is a global sourcing company, sourcing product components for other businesses. Now, we're experiencing an unprecedented demand for PPE, obviously coronavirus-related items, face masks, test kits, gowns, and so on. We're experiencing things that we haven't before to this extent in regard to suppliers. The vast majority of these products are coming out of China, which is not new, and they're also the ones that are operating at a greater capacity than other countries at the moment due to lockdowns. So they're the obvious go-to place if anyone is looking to import these products. Now, firstly, just as a disclaimer, this is more of an indication of how we operate. Other businesses operate in a different way, but we focus on reduction of risk more than anything. And at the moment, we're seeing more risk than ever. It could be described as the Wild West at the moment. We haven't experienced this amount of fake certificates, test reports, also test reports and certificates that are being shared between organisations. So given that we usually keep this information to ourselves as a competitive advantage, we think the repercussions are what's happening at the moment. It's probably more of so in the community's best interest if we share these techniques. There's far too many products coming in that isn't compliant, that's being destroyed by government, that people are losing a lot of money, but the worst scenario is that people on the front line and nurses and doctors and hospitals aren't getting their supplies, which puts health at risk. So with this in mind, we thought it best to explain some of the processes that we do and why we do them when we're assessing suppliers for these markets and for other markets to ensure that compliance is met, whether it be electrical or gas products or medical, obviously. So the first thing that we're looking for we'll use, say, masks as an ideal example, is you need certificates. So depending on whether you're going to the Australian market or you're supplying Europe, a good example, using their CE compliance, usually they'll get a certificate. The certificate will be issued by a third party. Now, they should have no hesitation with supplying you with this certificate. The things you want to be looking for are initially the company name. The reasons we're doing this, there's a lot of companies factories that are very quiet that may supply something completely different to masks. They could be a steel fabricator, for example. They could make coffee cups or anything, injection molding, completely different. And because business is slow due to the global epidemic, what they're looking at doing is basically effectively operating as a trading company for a legitimate factory. Now, what a lot of them are doing, once they get the order from you, they then shop it out to the cheapest factory, which may not have the accreditation. So ideally, you want to try to be purchasing from the factory that is listed on the certificate. Then you need to validate the certificate. So usually the company or the organisation that issued the certificate, most usually located in in Europe, will have a website or they'll have an email address where you can either type in that certificate number and check the validation. Now, just because you've gone that far and you've validated, yes, the certificate is legitimate, doesn't necessarily mean that certificate was issued for that particular product. So the product in most cases is listed on the certificate. So you need to cross-reference that either part number with a test report or a catalogue. Now, a lot of the certificates also provide the test kit, the test report as a link to the certificate, and it's nominated on the certificate. So the only true way to validate it is to get the test report from the factory also. Once you have the test report, you'll need to find that numerical link, ensure the product is correct, Now with that product, there should be a photo of the physical product in the test report. Now for masks and respirators, they're effectively a different product and they come under different compliance in most situations. So you want to specifically check that that product that you are looking to purchase is the one that's shown and used for the test in that test report, to make sure there's no pages missing, make sure that there's been no redacted information. Now, a lot of trading companies or a lot of these second tier factories will try to redact all the information. With the information redacted, the test report is effectively worthless, as is the certificate. Now, if you've gone through this whole process and you validated the test report's right and the certificate is correct and it all lines up for that product. Now, a big challenge that people can have is the organisation that you give the order to may have an abundance of orders and they have a long lead time and they might want to farm out that order to someone else. So the challenge you have is to making sure that the product that you are supplied is exactly what was shown on the test report and is related to that certificate. Now, not only, so CE obviously is for Europe, you've got FDA for the US, there's TGA for Australia, meaning AS/NZS standards. You could be looking at AAMI standards, ASTM. So that there is a lot of different standards and requirements. So it's very much specifically depends on the market that you're importing to or selling to and the requirements of your purchaser. Now, once you're placing your order with the organisation, say in China with the factory, you need we use some sort of check to make sure that what is listed on those certificates and the test reports is actually what is sent. The way we do this is by using our trusted people on the ground over there, and we can also use third-party QC companies. But just because they have ordered that, you have to have it tracking all the way through to when that product is shipped to a consignment number. Now, important to note, whatever entity is listed on the bill of lading or the airway bill or the express courier airway bill, the most important thing to know is the company that is listed as the consignee is the company that is responsible. So if that factory was to send you a product that was to say fail that standard, the local authorities are not interested in where the source or the origin of that product. They're interested in the company that imported the product, and they are the ones that are legally responsible. So where NGS add this value is particularly importing to Australia is that we take on that risk and supply to you in Australian dollars plus GST delivered to your door. There's different arrangements we can make for different countries as well. Now, the repercussions if obviously the product that's shipped is not what you're after, the product can be destroyed by customs, by your local government. There can be fines, and obviously the worst case scenario, as we touched on before, is the product may not serve its function and people may get sick due to it, or even worse. So if by any chance you are looking at purchasing from an importer, you're a hospital, you're a procurement manager, you're a doctor's surgery, please make sure that you are buying something that is what is required. Our doors are open at www.ngsdirect.com. We're happy to help. We can review documents and we can also obviously supply all the way from the factory to your door. Thanks for listening. Any questions, obviously feel free to get in contact with us. You can also contact me directly, Darren, DARREN, @ngsdirect.com. Thank you.